Welcome to Interview with Franjez. I'm your host, Franjez, and today's guest is a traveler, a hiker, a photographer, a videographer, and my friend. Today's guest is Brad Dollar.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me, man.
Man, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Got a nice workout in.
Good.
Ready
good.
to go. Feeling
Excellent.
good.
Health is wealth.
Yes, man.
Health is wealth.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump straight in. Where were you born?
I was born in New York in a town called Port Jervis. It's the last stop on the railroad if you're coming upstate from New York City. So, yeah, that's where I was born. Another thing about Port Jervis is my grandfather used to drive the trains on that railroad that I was just talking about. So, you know, lots of my family is still out there in that area. You know, shout out to my family.
Nice.
You know.
Very nice.
I wouldn't live there though, but you know, shout out to my family.
What is your father's name?
Henry Dollar.
Henry Dollar.
Dollar, yeah.
Yeah. What is your mother's name?
Kathleen Corcoran.
Kathleen. What were your parents doing around the time of your birth?
Working. They were they met each other on the job.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. What else were they doing? So my dad had just bought his first house, and I guess it came with. It was like he got a 2-for-1 deal. So there's like a main master house, and then there was like a rental house. I guess it was like a package deal. Yeah, and he was working at a bus garage at the time. So he was like a diesel mechanic. My mom, she was working too. So yeah,
They were just.
I don't really know what they were doing as far as like. You know, what they were wearing and stuff. I assume they were wearing like, it was like the late 80s, so they probably had big hair. My mom probably had like some like, I don't know, Barbara Streisand hair or something. And my dad, I think he had a nice cut with like a mustache or something, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. What religion did they practice during your childhood?
I grew up in a Christian Reformed church. Yeah, and I went there from a young age. Yeah, the whole family would go like every Sunday. It was like a big deal, you know. So that's Christianity. And yeah, I grew up in the church from like, you know, baptized, all that stuff. Christian Reformed is the answer.
All right. What is your relationship with God today?
I'm not sure how to answer that question. Is good. I mean, he's my friend, I would say. Whenever I you know, have a big decision to make, I mean, he's you know, part of every pretty big decision. Or whenever like I'm in trouble, I pray. So, you know, not in like a scheduled type of way, but you know, whenever it strikes me the need to pray, that's like kind of how I handle that. Most recently I read like Proverbs, so it's got like 31 chapters in that book, so it's like I was reading that like every morning for a month. That was the latest, you know, like Bible study type thing I did. It's a dope book. King Solomon's awesome. I don't know if you know. Do you know King Solomon?
No.
Oh, he's pretty cool. He's like a, you know, wise guy. He has a lot of good sayings. He's like I guess like the Confucius of like Christianity.
Oh, like a philosopher?
Yeah. Like wise words, you know, and like little short ones too. So like very memorable and very, you know, I don't know, like kind of like Confucian.
Yeah, philosophy.
I don't know who was first. I don't know. That was a long time ago. Confucius might have been, but I don't think they knew each other. They'd probably get along though.
Absolutely.
You know.
What was home like during your childhood? And when I say home like, I mean the food, the music, the family dynamic.
it was like super traditional. The food, the music. So we would eat a lot of like meat and potatoes. Like the whole family would sit around at the dinner table. You know, we'd pray before we eat. The music. You know, I guess it was oldies. So like there was some really good oldies stations, and even if I hear oldies music now, like, you know, like Beatles or like Beach Boys, that type of era, that's kind of what was on the radio. Home is good. I have brothers and sisters. You know, my dad worked really hard. He had like a full-time job and like a part-time job, so he was gone a lot. But anything important that happened as a kid, like he didn't miss anything. Like if I had like a, you know, recital or like, you know, anything with the school, baseball games, basketball games, like if it was, you know, an important thing, he always found a way to get there, which I don't really understand how he did all that stuff. He's like, he always has time for people he cares about, you know. What else about home? You know, my brother and I shared a bedroom growing up. I don't know if you've ever slept in the same room with somebody, but that's, you know, that's different. I can't imagine it now, but we slept in the same bedroom for the longest time until we were like maybe I was like in high school. I shared a room with my brother. I'm sure a lot of people do that, but
Yeah, me too.
You know,
My brother and I
shared a room. Yeah, that's a different type of dynamic. I don't know. As an adult, I can't believe I did that. Like, I need my space, you know.
your kids though, you know, you grew together.
Kids,
now you're older, you want your space.
Yeah, so home was good. You know, lots of like America's Funniest Home Videos, you know, sitting around the television at night. You know, I'd have to sneak in some like sports games when my mom was cooking because, you know, that wasn't going on the TV. We didn't have the internet till I was like in high school, so I was without that. I didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school, so I was without that. Actually, so this is like, we only had cable TV too, so that was like, this is like going back, I'm like pretty old, right? So like we only had channels like 2, 4, 7, 9, 11, and 13. That was it. So all the kids that are like, all the people that are my age that are like all about Nickelodeon, like we didn't even have that. Like I don't even know about Ren and Stimpy and all this stuff, bro. Like Pokemon was on like, you know, those lower channels and like, you know, WB11, that type of stuff, you know. So all the cable stuff I just, you know, didn't do any of that. You know, I grew up, you know, and then my grandma, my grandparents, they had cable, so it was always like rocket powered. And whenever we went over to their house, we were always like all the kids were so excited, all in my family, because she had the, you know, cable TV. It was like a whole new world, you know. All these shows our friends were talking about, we could watch them at our grandma's house. So everybody, like, you know, we always liked going over there, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Those are fond memories right there.
Food, we ate like traditional European stuff, I guess, but it was a mix. My mom always made everything, but we had some like stump hut. You ever heard of stump hut before?
Never.
This is like I guess this is, you know, a Dutch meal. It's like potatoes and carrots, but the potatoes are mashed with carrots, so it's like orange potatoes and like bacon grease on top, and then it was with kibasi in there too. Yeah, that's called stump hut.
That sounds delicious.
It's pretty delicious. It was, yeah, meat and potatoes type of stuff, but we had tacos. I had a good mixture. Meatloaf growing up. Cube steaks. Kids love the cube steaks, and I always ate so much ketchup when I was a kid, like Heinz ketchup. So much of it. I still like it today, but I try to, you know, act like an adult instead of like instead of, you know, smothering stuff in ketchup, you know.
I'm the same way, man. My whole life I love ketchup.
Yeah, it's, you know, anything tasted like you didn't like the taste of it, anything, just the ketchup bottles there. Go get it, you know, eat everything on your plate. That type of house, you know.
That's beautiful. Beautiful memories.
Just trying to help people out, you know. The family kind of like, everybody had chores and stuff. Everybody was, you know. So I went to, I don't know, what's the next question? I don't know.
The next question is,
Keep going.
who is the first person you think of when you think of success?
Who's the first person? I guess my dad. That'd be the first person. I don't know. Yeah.
What about him makes you think of success?
Like he kept a family together for a really long time. You know, my mom and dad are still together. All my brothers and like me, my brothers and sisters all have pretty good lives. And I guess I like the idea of working hard for a long time and having things pay off. And he's like a good example of like super hard work for a long period of time, and that getting to where he is now, you know.
That's beautiful.
He's pretty successful. Especially like seeing as he's just like high school diploma guy, you know, if you could see like the life that he built over the course of his working career with just like growing up on a farm and having a high school diploma and just, you know, working hard that whole time, you know, it's actually really impressive, you know. So I mean, some people have like wild levels of like success, like numbers on the board type stuff, but like doing a lot with a little is that's a different kind of success, you know.
Absolutely. Dad, salute. That's amazing. Amazing example.
Yeah.
As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh man, when I was a kid, probably an athlete, some type of athlete. I used to skateboard a lot. I don't know if I wanted to be a pro skater. Maybe a baseball player. I don't think I put much thought into it as a kid. I always just wanted to be the best at the activities I participated in. So I do remember a time where I wanted to be a baseball player as a kid, and I'd spend like probably like all afternoon after school just throwing baseballs. Like I would practice all day. We had like a retaining wall, and it was made from old railroad ties, believe it or not. So like the links in the railroad, but it was like old wood. So I put like tape on it of the strike zone, and the wood would like bounce the ball back, if that makes sense.
Of course.
So like when I would pitch and it was a good pitch, you know, it would hit the ties and it would like roll right back to me. So it was like kind of like someone like feeding you basketballs the whole time, like as your jump shot, you know what I mean? Like someone just keep passing you. So it would be like repetition. I remember that as a kid, just like lots and lots of practice for that. So I guess like a baseball player, pitcher, you know, that's what I wanted to do, you know, when I was a kid. It seemed like a good career path, but, you know.
What are the 3 things you need to be happy?
3 things I need to be happy. I don't even think I need 3. I don't think I need anything. I just, you know, maybe like a pair of sneakers or shoes. That clothes aren't, you know, do they count? Like, do I need clothes to be happy? I don't know.
Literally, whatever you say, and that's beautiful. Your answer is beautiful because that's really the best answer. You don't need anything really to be happy as long as you're okay.
What would make me happier? So like a good pair of shoes. That I think that to be happy you need like a good pair of shoes. I don't think I'd be happy having blisters all the time. I mean, I'd probably be a little less happy. Yeah, shoes, maybe like just enough clothes so like I didn't stand out and I could just operate normally, you know, maybe like Salvation Army stuff. I don't know. And good food, like healthy food. I know that when I eat healthy food, I feel like better than when I eat like quote unquote junk food or whatever, you know? So food, a good pair of shoes, and a good night's sleep. Those are my 3 things. Good night's sleep, good pair of shoes, and what I say, good food. Those 3 things.
Beautiful. Love it.
I'd be okay. I'd be okay. You know?
Love it. What's the most exciting thing you ever did?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? Exciting. Exciting to me. I've done a lot of things. Most exciting thing I ever did. First thing that comes to mind is taking like a bush plane extraction from like a desolate island in the middle of Lake Superior. That was pretty cool. The plane landed on a lake to pick me up, and I was like alone on a dock, like naked and afraid style, except like I wasn't naked and I wasn't afraid. I was just waiting on a dock, you know. That was pretty exciting. That, or when I was in Cancun scuba diving, that was pretty exciting too. Those are the two things that come to mind. But yeah, that island is called what is that place called?
While you think, could you explain what happened there? What was that with the plane?
Oh, so yeah. So with the plane, it's there's no communication on this island. It's like super desolate, where like you need sat phones and stuff like that. So and there was a storm actually too. So my extraction was like delayed. So like 2 days before I was scheduled for pickup, just by like, you know, scheduled beforehand. And I'm sitting on the dock, and there was a storm, like pretty bad storm. So there's a lot of low hanging clouds. And I heard the plane like circling above. Like, I'm not going to make a plane noise, but you can picture it. Like, I heard it. I'm like, okay, here he comes. Like, good, I'm getting out of here. And then I heard him like not landing. And then I heard him fly away, and I didn't know why. And I found out later that he couldn't spot the lake to land in because the cloud cover was too thick, and he couldn't drop down below the clouds to like find the spot. And this is like a I don't know how to describe the plane. This isn't like a highly sophisticated plane. This is like pneumatics. Like this guy like a bicycle. I don't know. It's like an old plane, an old like bushwhacking plane. Like so then I had to go like to the ranger station or whatever, and they like somehow communicated, because like my cell phone I couldn't get in touch with anybody, and I was like stranded there, you know. And I guess through SAT communications with the rangers. This is Isle Royale National Park. Shout out to them. They're really good people. Thank you to the rangers. They ended up contacting the company, the airline company, and you know, I had to wait out a storm there for a few more days, and then finally, like, you know, the plane landed and I got out safely. But this is a really long story. You know,
I have so many questions.
Yeah, because literally,
man, this is interesting.
I was supposed to catch another flight from like Green Bay, Wisconsin, to go to, where was I supposed to go? I believe it was St. Martin. I was supposed to catch that like a day later. So I had no contact with anybody, and I had like another flight lined up, and I just didn't show up for the flight. And like, you know, I was meeting other people down in St. Martin. I believe it was St. Martin. I was meeting other people down there, and I just didn't show up, you know? Like, I had no communication. So like, I didn't get like, people were looking for me and stuff, and I'm like on this deserted island in the middle of nowhere, you know, waiting for a plane that never came. You know, it was pretty wild. There's like wolves there too, so like there's a lot to talk about, man. You know? it was
amazing.
Pretty cool, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
As you get older, what has become more important and less important?
What's become more important? Feeling good, I guess. I mean, I guess like what comes to mind is like food. Like I mentioned it before, healthy choices, and like knowing what food agrees with me becomes more important than you know, like taste and flavor so much, you know. You know, I know my grandma was into that too. Like, she would eat the most bland food without salt, and I'm like, how do you do that? When I was a kid, like I just couldn't do it. Now I understand that feeling good's like, and having nourishment is more important than like tasting good and smothering stuff with ketchup, right? You know.
And what about less important?
Less important. I guess looks, and I guess like how I look is less important to me on the inside. Like, especially when it comes to like clothes and stuff. Don't get me wrong, like I like looking good, but it doesn't impact me. I'll like dress good for other people, right? Because I like the reactions I get from other people are better when I look good as compared to like when I don't look good. But me personally, it's like, you know, I'm not ashamed to, you know, look bad, you know.
Definitely, definitely. What would be the best piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
My younger self. Keep working, I guess. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, not that I don't work now, but just like, you know, keep working hard, I guess. I would tell my younger self that. Yeah, I don't know what else. I have to think about it. Yeah, just work hard. Just keep working.
That's perfect. Do you have any regrets?
No. What do I regret? No, I don't have any regrets.
Perfect, perfect. What are your life goals?
Life goals. This is good. I want to so I have this passport book for the United States. It's like a U.S. national park passport, and I don't know if you know this, but all the national parks in the federal system, they all have stamps. Kind of like when you go to another country for like your passport, like they use the same system there. So each park has like a date and a stamp, and I think there's a lot of them. I think there's like 53 or 54 national parks. So I want to get a stamp from all those in the passport. That's one good life goal. How many did you say I have to list? Would you said goals or goal?
It's goals, yeah. So in general, just
so
all
that,
of them.
I want to get that. I want to visit them all. I've already done a bunch, so there's some really like hard ones to get to and go to. So I want to get a stamp in the book for all that, and I guess to be able to, I don't know, live comfortably at 50 years old, or just do the things that I want to do, and not worry about money at all. Yeah, that'd probably be life goals. Maybe be like a good influence and role model to like other people, you know. I feel like I can have enough self-discipline and do the things that a lot of people aren't willing to do. And I think that I don't even need to like really talk about it. I think just, you know, people seeing me is enough to keep them going, you know?
Yeah.
I think good role models, because even me, like personally, yeah, so I guess be a good role model. Even me personally, like sometimes maybe this is a bad thing, but you can probably correct me if it's wrong. But as I get older, it's harder and harder to find people that I would aspire to be like. I don't know if you have that same thing. Like I'll look around the room at people, which is probably a bad way to see who's a good role model. But like I said before, like even me just being near some people, I feel like is a good influence on them. Like even just them like seeing me, that's how I think. I'm probably wrong, but yeah. So yeah, as I get older, there's less and less people that I see in day-to-day life. Like there's like the internet and like videos and stuff, and I guess like you can find some role models that way, but in person there's like less and less people who like inspire me, or that, you know, really I'd want to be like, or, you know, learn from, you know.
Definitely. What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, what's next for me? As far as like trips and like backpacking, hiking, I have a big road trip in May up the northeast of the United States, like Acadia National Park. I'm gonna hike Mount Katahdin. That's like the end of the line for the Appalachian Trail. It's like on the U.S.-Canada border. And that's like the finishing point for these people that hiked, I don't know how many 1,000 miles it is on the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, so that, and I'll stop at some lighthouses and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of what's next for me. After this, I'll probably go read a book, though. That's really what's next.
Nice.
Leave here, go read something.
Nice. These next 10 questions originally came from a French series, Bouillon de Culture, hosted by Bernard Prévost. What is your favorite word?
Oh, man, sassafras.
Is that a real word?
That's a real word. Look it up. Sassafras is a good one. What is it? Grass. It's some type of like plant. That's not a word. It's a thing. It is.
Very nice. What is your least favorite word?
I don't know. Punk, I guess. Least favorite word. Punk's the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know. Yeah.
Punk is good.
Punk's all right.
Punk is good.
And it doesn't trigger me, but it's like, I guess punk is, whatever. Are you trying to offend me? Like, who says punk?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't like punk rock. I don't know. Maybe I don't like that genre. I don't know.
What turns you on?
Intensity. Like things that, and satori, like a feeling of like complete focus. I like that.
Nice. What turns you off?
Ignorance and anger.
Perfect. What sound or noise do you love?
Okay, so back to Isle Royale National Park, where that plane was. So I went on. I do like photography. So I was in this like bay, I guess. What's the name of the bay? You have to get back to me. Anyway, there was a bird. It's called a loon, and there was like mist on the lake, and like the sun was just rising, and this loon was calling, and it's like super beautiful sounding bird. Like it's really it's not like one of those birds that you hear it and you don't know what it is. Like it's very obvious like what type of bird is making the call, because it's a certain sound, and if you hear it, it'll probably remind you of like a Native American or like an Indian or something. So probably like a loon. It's in a lot of like meditation like noises and stuff like that. It's peaceful, very peaceful.
I gotta look into that one day. That sounds nice.
Yeah, loon, Loon. It's nice. Yeah, it's a big
nice word. What sound or noise do you hate?
I don't like static. Static on the radio. I grew up listening to like the FM. I still listen to it, and I guess like static and like metal on metal. So like sharpening knives. That sound of like that it like goes into my bones, the sound of metal on metal. I guess that screeching sound, like when you move a desk in a class, that eek sound.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of it. It like, goes right through me.
What's your favorite curse word?
Favorite curse word? I don't know, man. Favorite curse word? I don't really have a favorite. Nah, I guess like maybe shit. Shit's good. I guess I'll stick with shit.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
VR content creator. That's actually what's next for me in like the grand scheme of things, is creating like VR content.
What profession would you not like to do?
I can't stand the smell of shit, so I guess like septic or anything that I'll just be puking all day. I'll be worthless,
Yeah.
So something like that. Anything with like a foul odor, so like septic or anything. Garbage I could probably handle, but like even that I don't want to do that either.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Good job.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. This is the part of the episode where the floor is yours. If you want to let the people know what you have going on, any advice you like to give, or let the people know how to find you.
Yeah, you can find me pretty easy. My IG actually is like, I don't know, under construction right now. So it's Bradley Dollar. That's my IG handle. And I don't really have any advice for people. I think they know what they have to do already. They just got to do it. So I don't know. What was the other thing I'm allowed to do right now?
The floor is yours. You say whatever you want.
I think self-discipline is one of the most important things you could develop in your life. And if you need someone to learn self-discipline from, I think I would point you to like a David Goggins or somebody like that. Try to learn that. And self-discipline is doing the things that you're supposed to be doing when you're supposed to be doing them, even if you don't feel like it. I probably butchered that quote, but even if you don't feel like doing something, but it's time for that thing to get done, just do it. That's self-discipline. I'm not going to sit here and preach, but yeah, thanks for having me, man. You really got my mind going. I feel like they need to like link this episode to like an Indeed profile for like job interviews or something. They can be like, yeah, just watch this. I'll attach it to my resume, and people can know who I am.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. This is the end. Peace and love.
See ya.